Ciao e bentornati! Welcome back to Pillole D'Italiano. In today's episode, episode number 67, and in next week's too, we're going to tackle a few very common mistakes that I see and hear you and my clients make very often, because I figure, why don't we clean up those little errors to help you drastically improve your Italian before I introduce you to new things. So today we are going to tackle 4 common mistakes, and next week 4 more. I'm going to keep this episode and next one short and sweet, because what I found to be true is that if I give too many corrections at once, it's kind of difficult for the person who's receiving them to get them all and to apply them. So we're going to tackle only a few of them today. All right, before we start, let me just put out there that when I will be talking about these common mistakes, it is impossible for me to just find one example that resonates with all of you. So I will be using mock sentences, things that will help you understand what you might have been doing wrong. So maybe you never really found yourself using that exact phraseology, and that's okay. Try and see if the basic concept rings a bell. Let's start with mistake number 1. When you want to say that somebody has been doing something for a certain period of time and that person is still doing that, well, in English, you would just use that ing form. I have been living in the States for a while. He has been living in that city for a certain number of years. If you try and translate this type of sentence literally in Italian, it will not really make much sense. It will sound super odd. We don't use that construct at all. Well, I hear a lot of English speakers say something along the lines of è stato vivendo in Italia da 7 anni. I speak English, so I do understand that you're literally translating that concept of he has been living in Italy for 7 years. But in Italian, we will simply say vive in Italia da 7 anni. Since it's something that he's still doing, we just use a simple present. So vive, he lives or she lives. Vive in Italia da 7 anni. Mistake number 2. How would you go about translating the concept of looking for something? You might be very, very tempted to say vedere per. You're literally saying to look for. Well, that's wrong. In Italian, we do have another verb that means to look for, and is cercare. Cercare already has that for built in. So once you get used to using that cercare, don't put per or anything afterwards. I mean, the thing that you're looking for, of course, but no preposition needed. Cercare una penna, to look for a pen. Cercare un buon ristorante, to look for a good restaurant. You see how cercare is already translating that for? Mistake number 3. Have you ever found yourself saying attualmente to try and translate that actually? Oh, attualmente, and then you're saying something that goes against what was previously stated or what you were previously stating. Attualmente actually in Italian exists, but it doesn't have the same meaning. We would say attualmente meaning right now. It has to do with the actual moment that we're living in. But when you want to say, oh, actually, because you change your mind or you want to correct someone, you would say a dire il vero. A dire il vero. 4 words, to tell the truth. Well, literally to tell the truth. Vero is an adjective. But a dire il vero, basically, it's the same as the English to tell the truth. And that's the expression you want to use every time in your head the English actually pops up. 4th and last mistake of the day is the use of that present progressive, such as I am speaking, she is sleeping, he is reading. So that kind of stuff. When you translate it literally and you use the verb essere, to be, in Italian, that's wrong. If you ever said sono mangiando, you made a very, very common mistake that a lot of English speakers make. You should have said sto mangiando. Every time you are in the process of doing something, not something that you're planning on doing, right? We're not talking about I'm eating with my friend tonight, but I'm eating right now. It's happening, I'm chewing, as I'm telling you, which is very rude. Well, every time you have that type of scenario where you are in the middle of doing that action, you need to use stare, not essere, to build a verb. Sto parlando, sto mangiando, sta dormendo, etc. If you enjoyed today's episode and you would love to receive this type of feedback from yours truly in this personalized and private way, I just wanted to let you know that I made available a few spots for a new program, which is very affordable. It's called PAM Project, and you can discover more about it by going on my website. You will find the link in the description of the episode below. Since I don't have a ton of free time right now, I had to put a hard limit to the number of people that can access this service, because I want to make sure to give the best value to each and every one of you. The best way for you to know if new spots become available is to sign up to receive my weekly newsletter, so you can use the same link in the description below. And I will let you know, I will communicate with you weekly. I will keep you posted. You will be the first one to know if an opening becomes available. Without further ado, I'm going to leave you to the rest of your weekend. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel if you're new to it. And I will see you next week. Ciao, a presto!